Hello folks, this is Ask a Kid. Today we are going to go on a bit more of a historical adventure to a place called Ancient Britain. In this episode we are going to feature a very important historical person. If you live in Britain, you'll learn all about her in your school syllabus. Her name is Boudica. Disclaimer. Before we begin, I want you to know that there will be no booty-related jokes in this video. Anyway, Boudica is known as Boudica in Latin and Budug as well in Welsh. Continuing to the autobiography, Boudica was queen of the Iceni Celtic tribe. She lived with her husband Prasutagus and had 2 daughters. Life was good, well, at least until the Romans marched in and tried to take over the whole country, like they often do in history. I'm sorry, Romans, but you know it's true. So moving on. When the Romans arrived, they acted good, unlike their intentions. They literally asked the Iceni to pay not to be attacked. And by ask, I mean forced. Prasutagus reluctantly agreed. Boudica, on the other hand, didn't agree but went along with it anyway. Shortly after he died from sickness, the Romans kidnapped a couple of Boudica's people. She decided enough was enough and rode to the Roman camp with her 2 daughters to give them a piece of her mind. But they ignored her accusations and whipped her and did terrible things to her daughters. After that episode, she was really steamed up, so she rallied up the neighbouring tribes against the Romans. First, they destroyed Camulodunum, otherwise known as medieval Colchester. The Romans didn't expect that, so they rallied up their troops at one of an old Emperor Claudius's temples that they had built there, and waited. Well, Boudica came. All right, she ambushed them, and they tried to hold her forces back, but she thrashed their booties. Get it? No? Okay. Sorry, I broke my promise. Goodness. Continuing, the Romans were super embarrassed at being beaten by a girl, and Nero, Lord Almighty, the brat, and who was slightly brutish, fled to Londinium, medieval London, to evacuate all the citizens before Boudica came, because they didn't have enough troops to beat her. She then arrived in London and burnt it to the ground, but it still wasn't enough, so she headed to the place where the Battle of Watling Street, thinking she was heading towards another victory. The Iceni charged again and again, but the Romans kept on pushing them back. Stabbing with their swords and poking with their pilums, the Iceni charged one final time. It is unknown if she'd died in prison or from poison, but her legacy still lives on. She is known as many things in many places, but one thing's for sure, she definitely went down in history. Anyway, folks, if you liked that short little history about Boudica, drop a like or subscribe or comment in the comments. If you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Anyway, see you in the next video.